I call the Minister and the Member for Vaucluse.
Thank you, Madam Acting Chair. On Friday the 10th of March, I visited Bondi Mizrachi Synagogue to announce funding for the kitchen and community hall renovation. The New South Wales Government has helped to fund the project with a $30,000 grant as part of the Community Building Partnership Program. The grant will be used to improve the facility for many volunteers who donate their time each year. I met with Rabbi Shua Solomon, President Michael Goldberg, Vice President Erin Brill, Honorary Secretary Michael Balkin, Treasurer Nathan Smith and Synagogue Administrator Miriam Marks to celebrate the start of this ambitious project. And while I was there, I toured the kitchen and hall facilities that were being prepared at that time to be gutted for the renovation, which the New South Wales Government has helped to fund. Rabbi Solomon kindly invited me to stay for the Friday evening Shabbat service and also presented to me some Haven Starsen as a gift for the upcoming Purim holidays. These are beautiful jam biscuits, which I took home to my family afterwards. And it was good at that Shabbat service to be welcomed by Rabbi Solomon's wife, Rebbetzin Solomon, to be made to feel very welcome amongst the women in the shul. It is timely to reflect on the history of Bondi Mizrachi Synagogue, and it started in 1938 with a group of like-minded individuals who had previously attended services at the Central Synagogue. They decided to establish their own congregation, and being located in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, the new congregation was called Mizrachi, which is Hebrew for east. Initially, services were held in the Masonic Hall in Bondi Road in Bondi, with Rabbi Kerzner officiating. And in the 1940s, Rabbi Abramson was appointed to assist him and took over as rabbi of the congregation in 1951 when Rabbi Kerzner stepped down. Meanwhile, in 1949, the president, Max Mann, had overseen the purchase of a property at 214 Old South Head Road, Bondi, and the synagogue now owned a premise of its own. Membership in the years after World War II consisted predominantly of Polish Holocaust survivors, and Yiddish was frequently spoken at the synagogue. It was in the 1950s that Moshe Lederman was appointed as the cantor, or the Hazan. And in 1973, the synagogue relocated to a purpose-built synagogue on its current site at 339 Old South Head Road, Bondi. Rabbi Abramson remained as the rabbi of the synagogue until his death in 1981. Rabbi David Miller and Rabbi Shimon Lawrence served as rabbis briefly before the appointment of Rabbi Moshe Gutnick as rabbi in 1987. Most recently, Rabbi and Rebbetzin Solomon took up the position of leadership of the synagogue in July of 2015 and were formally inducted as the spiritual leadership of the synagogue on 16 August of that year. Rabbi Solomon is no stranger to Australia. He grew up in Perth. He taught a number of programs in Israel, where he also served as a combat soldier stationed on the Gaza border. I was honoured to join that event to welcome Rabbi and Rebbetzin Solomon, their inauguration ceremony nearly 2 years ago now, and I thank them in the meantime for their strong leadership of our local Jewish community. Bondi Mizrachi Synagogue regularly hosts community events, including Tu B'Shvat, which is the New Year for Trees. That was a Saturday afternoon tea where there were over 150 people attending. The synagogue also recently celebrated Purim, as many other synagogues across Australia did and across the world. And that was the day after my visit there, where the congregation gathered to hear stories of Purim. Of course, on Purim there is a tradition to dress up in costumes. The tradition comes from the story of Esther, in which numerous enemies of the Jews dressed up in costumes in order to avoid being killed in the war. There are 7 reasons given for the age-old custom to dress up on Purim, in contrast to the overt miracles of the holidays of Passover, Hanukkah and the other Jewish holidays. The miracle of the holiday of Purim was disguised in natural events. And so the custom of wearing costumes on Purim is an allusion to the nature of the Purim miracle, where the details of the story are really miracles hidden within natural events. Now, while many people think Purim is only about dressing up or eating those wonderful jam biscuits, it really is a Jewish holiday where you're meant to have joy, share that with your family and give that joy to somebody else. I do look forward to continuing to work with Rabbi and Rebbetzin Solomon to see this important project of renovating their kitchen and community hall come to fruition, And I do thank them both for creating a warm, safe and very family-oriented atmosphere for our local Jewish community to enjoy. I commend my private member statement to the House.